Thank you very much indeed. Yes, NICO ROSBERG. Wasn't really looking forward to yet another Craig Slater interview, but it's wonderful to join you and congratulate you as the new world champion live on Sky Sports News. This wonderful trophy here, NICO. And, well, it must mean so much. But amongst other things, I wonder in your busy schedule, have you had any time to say sorry to Sir Sterling Moss? I guess you know what I'm talking about, because he is once again the driver. Well, you can explain.
I do, yes. I mean, I'm glad that I got rid of that one, which was the most wins without a title. Yeah, I'm very glad I got rid of that one. That's a nice one to not have. Sorry, Sir Sterling.
But it shows you were knocking on the door for a championship, and a championship was due. Year by year, you were getting closer and closer. But you yourself, you've talked about, USA in 2015 as that point where something changed within you. Can you explain exactly what? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's as always, that it's the tough moments and the losses, which I think we need to try and use and to get stronger and to come back and to push and to reap motivation, and more determination, and that worked for me, because losing 2 times to Lewis was very painful, very painful. First one was in the last race, although I'd been leading for most of the season. I was leading, and I lost it in the last race. And then the second year, and the way I lost it was really not nice, because I was leading, made a mistake, he got past, and then your loved Capgate. So that really, that was not nice at all, and so that was very tough again. And then, really, I just spent 2 days nearly alone, like in a hotel room, thinking, and came to the conclusion that I definitely don't ever want to experience that again, and I'm going to give it everything I can and not leave a stone unturned to try and avoid a situation like that again. And here I am now. So that was the beginning. After that, I won 7 races on the trot, so something really clicked, and that for sure was one of the key moments. Yeah, and you've got it, and your name will be on this trophy in a day or so's time, and alongside your father's. It's the first time I just really saw it just now, and the first thing I did really was to look where my dad is, and that's really something very, very special to me, that we both achieved the same thing, and that we both have our name on this special trophy. That's so cool. Was it? When you were this age, I mean, I'm showing you a picture here of you and your dad walking along hand in hand. Were you even thinking then, I wonder, can I do it? In years to come, can I be world champion? Probably didn't understand what it all meant when you were that young a boy, but it's been some road. So I grew up in those surroundings, because I always went to the F1 races with my dad and was go-karting at the time already and everything, and I was a really passionate follower of Mika Häkkinen. Because my dad was managing him, so there was a bit of a connection, and just loved supporting him and watching him race and race Schumacher. And since the very, very early days, my dream was to first of all race, become successful, and win the F1 World Championships as long as I can think, and really, so everything I was doing went for that one target, which made that Sunday 4 days ago all the more tough. It was definitely mentally ridiculously tough. I heard the word in so many languages, soulagement, relief. I mean, it just poured out of you after you crossed the line. But to do it in the style that you did, in a tough race, having to overcome Max Verstappen, having what happened to you in the final laps and dealing with that as well, does it make it all the more satisfying to have earned it the hard way like that? For sure, yes. In hindsight, that made the satisfaction even bigger. Because it was really extremely tough. The last 4 races were tough. Once I got to the point where it was mine to lose, that really piled up the pressure then for me. After Japan, and then of course the last weekend was the ultimate. To have to overtake Max Verstappen. I mean, that with the title on the line, having led for so long. Yeah, that was not. Did your whole season? Did you feel it could all be in the balance at that moment? Well, of course it was, because I had to overtake. Otherwise, I could have lost positions. And I couldn't afford to lose a single one because I was already third at that point. So that was, for sure, and tough moments in the race, really, really tough, extreme moments, but all the sweeter afterwards, and also the fact that it was Lewis that I took the title from. That makes that's a little bit extra sweet as well, because to me it feels like I've been racing him all my life, and all my life he's just edged me out for the titles. now I got one back on him finally, and that feels great too.
And there was a nice message from him today. I don't know if you saw it, but
no.
Well, he said, well deserved. And it's a picture of the two of you together in junior Formula E, and we've raced each other. And we talked about how we'd both be champions, and now we are. And I just wondered, does that change the dynamic within the team? Maybe next season that it's champion versus champion. And I suppose you know, there's been a lot of water under the bridge, but here you both are, and still bringing success to this team.
Don't want to think about next year for now. I want to enjoy the moment. I want to enjoy this,
yeah.
And just what happened, and just be here. And yeah, I haven't seen what Lewis has posted, but the way you're saying it, and I appreciate that for sure, a lot. And but it just shows again, you know, that we were best friends 15 years ago or whatever, you know, and for sure I still have that base respect, you know, even if it's difficult moments, and the environment means that you can't be friends, because we're just fierce rivals, you know, and fighting it out there for the championship all the time, you know, and you can't be friends. But as long as one guy doesn't accept, okay, you're better, I'll be second, you just can't be friends, you know, it's just difficult. So, yeah, but yeah, that's...
Just one last on that whole issue. I mean, you said after the race, I asked you about it, you didn't have a problem with the tactics he used. Would you like Mercedes to just
draw? No, I didn't say that.
Well, I think you said you understood.
I said I understood.
You understood. Okay,
bit of a difference,
fair
yeah?
enough. There is a big difference. Would you be happy if Mercedes drew a line under it all, and we understood the exceptional circumstances, and you know, you just got on with it next year, or is it for them to make that decision, I suppose?
Yeah, it's not for me to make any such decisions or even get into any discussions like that. I just find the discussion a bit overblown, because you can understand all the sides, you know. So I think it would be good if one could somehow move on.
Yeah. What are your highlights of the year? There was some
Singapore.
Well, yes. That, I'm also thinking Suzuka was really crucial.
Well, Suzuka was crucial for the championship.
Massive,
yeah. But Singapore was my highlight weekend because of the way it went. It was my best weekend ever, I think, in terms of performance and in terms of pressure management. Then in the end, because Red Bull got one, had us over with a great strategy move, and then Ricciardo was hunting me down, and my engineer said he's going to catch you with 2 laps to go, and with such a speed difference, it's going to be difficult to keep him behind. So the pressure was on massively to lose a win that was actually nearly guaranteed at some points in time, because I was not going to give that away, you know. And that was a very, very sweet victory.
Yeah. We talked a lot over the year about mental control and who was in charge mentally. Your father, I spoke to him after the race, his first interview he'd given for 6 years, and he said...
No, I think it's 10 years.
Well, something like that. He was talking about January 2010, but he talked about how you can now empty your brain of all the clutter. You know, you can switch off after one result and switch back on after another. I mean, for week in, week out, you kept on saying, I'm not thinking about the championship, I'm not thinking about it. Was that actually true? Were you able to discipline your mind to that degree?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not a machine, yeah? I'm not a machine, it's my childhood dream that we're talking about. But it was my best attempt, and it really worked. It really worked, because as a result, I was able to reduce the pressure, because the more you think about the desire to fulfill the childhood dream and to be a world champion, that's a massive weight, which I want to try and avoid going into. And so, yeah, it worked really well to try and stay focused just in the moment. And I even pulled that through into the last weekend. I asked all my friends to not come so that I could just treat it as weekend like any other. Even my parents, we had a discussion and we agreed that's best they don't come either. So just focus, trying to do the performance. But of course the mind would wander off, you know. I mean, desire for this thing is huge, but it really worked to keep it relatively under control.
You're going to be going to bed with this, I can tell. You don't want to talk about next year, but maybe what do we know from the end of this year about the teams, the other drivers maybe that might be trying to knock you and Mercedes off the perch? Do you think Red Bull are really knocking on the door? They've got Adrian Newey, the top designer, with new rules next year, and maybe that was another factor on your mind. Will I have the chance to win this all again next year, as you were going for the title this year?
Well, definitely that also plays plays a part, because you never know in F1 when the next chance will be. And this was the 3rd chance already. So, and for next year, the competitors, it's the usual. You know, it's the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, and possibly another surprise or something. like McLaren or something where you just don't know. That's going to be the usual suspects, I think. But for sure, things can be a bit more mixed up.
Okay. And what about Germany? Is that your one regret in the last 10 days or so, that maybe that race might not happen? Are you still hopeful that we could have a German Grand Prix somehow? It could come back on the calendar?
Well, for me, F1 World Championship without a German Grand Prix is not an F1 World Championship. It's like if the British Grand Prix was gone. That just it's just wrong, isn't it? So I really wish that they find a solution somehow. That would be great. And let's see if it works out.
Okay. Listen, you've been brilliant with us all this year.
Thank you to you as well.
But what about number one? You're going to give me an exclusive. You're saying you've not decided yet. Are you going to have the number one on your car next year? Or is it going to be number 6?
Not going into any such. I want to be enjoying this, not thinking about numbers.
Well, the numbers don't matter because you are number one this year, Nico Rosberg.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you also, for those of you who are supporting me through the season. Very much appreciate it.